Thank you for joining the Pre-Orientation Welcome Webinar, and good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you're joining us from. We appreciate you taking the time to connect with us today, and we look forward to meeting you in January. We will use this webinar to introduce you to some key aspects of orientation and the student experience to help you prepare for your arrival. Today, you will hear from the Office of Student Affairs, representing community and academic programs, as well as the Career Management Center. We will share content for about 25 minutes and then have 20 minutes of question and answer. If you have a question throughout the session, please share using the chat function and we will address it during the Q&A portion. To start, we'd like to introduce today's presenters. I'm Joan Carrigal. I work in the Office of Student Affairs, often referred to as OSA, as the Associate Director of Student Life. And our team oversees signature programs, student organizations, and leadership, as well as community initiatives.
Hi, everyone. I'm Katrina Maurer, also a part of the Office of Student Affairs representing the academics team. As the Associate Director of Advising and Academic Success, we'll be able to address some questions today on not only what your first semester will be like in the core curriculum, but for the entirety of your MBA journey.
Hi everyone, my name is Swati Chandra and I'm Director of Communications and Operations here in the Career Management Center. We're your support system for all things career.
Thank you. I'd now like to provide a brief introduction to the Office of Student Affairs. OSA is here to support you throughout your entire academic and community life experience. As you'll see, there are two branches to our team. One is the Academic Affairs, your primary resource for academic-related offerings, programs, and support. You will hear more regarding Academic Affairs in a few minutes from my colleague, Katrina. The other branch of our team is Student Life Engagement. We work with student groups and clubs, community initiatives, signature programs, and orientation. With orientation quickly approaching, we'd like to highlight some pre-arrival tasks for your attention. As you're well aware, orientation is just shy of 2 months away, with the official start on Monday, January 13th. As you prepare, we highly encourage you to review the monthly orientation newsletter you've been receiving to your GSB email account and will continue to receive. These newsletters contain important updates and information from various stakeholders. You'll see here a small excerpt of the latest orientation newsletter from November. Similar to previous newsletters, this includes information on managing your to-do lists. This information is highlighted in the blue bar on the right-hand side, which is critical at this point to make sure you get off to a good start in January. Keeping that in mind, please be sure to accept financial aid awards and apply for loans. Ensure your housing is settled. Purchase your laptop and follow the self-configuration instructions that will be sent from your ITG department. Upload your photo for your student ID, as well as your student directory photo and bio, which is used for faculty pictorial rosters, as well as networking here on campus. Also, convert your resume to CBS format and complete the Welcome Advising Survey. Complete your pre-arrival academic self-assessments and supplementary readings. And finally, complete the university pre-arrival tutorial that will come from Columbia University shortly and is also available on your to-do list. We also understand that several of you will be coming from outside the New York area and even outside the United States. With that, we recommend that you arrive early and give yourself time to get ready and settled here in New York City before the program begins. The Admitted Student website is also an incredible resource, which we will review shortly and is mentioned throughout the newsletter. Again, these newsletters are sent monthly from the Office of Student Affairs and are sent to your GSB email account. Now, a bit more on orientation. Our new student orientation program is designed around the three main gears of the student experience: academics, careers, and community. With this, we have set the following learning outcomes for participating students. 1, that you will understand what it means to be a good citizen here at Columbia Business School. 2, that you will understand and be able to utilize the resources available for you through your tenure related to academics, careers, and community. And 3, that you will understand the 3 elements of leadership as an individual, team, cluster mate, and community member. Overall, our goal is to acclimate you to the Columbia Business School culture and the 3 main areas of the student experience. Lastly, some key takeaways for orientation. The daytime programming is mandatory and typically runs from approximately 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. throughout the 2 weeks. The majority of the program is for our new MBA students, but there are family-friendly events throughout the week, sponsored by our Better Halves Clubs, and we welcome families at Monday's welcome reception. We have shared a block schedule at this time, so you can get a sense for the 2 weeks. This can be found on the admitted student website, and the visual here outlines the location. OSA will release a detailed schedule in January along with instructions for our official orientation app, which will also be available on this webpage. Again, we look forward to meeting you shortly here on campus, and if you have any questions as you prepare for orientation, please email osa@gsb.columbia.edu. I'd like to now introduce my colleague Katrina, who will share information around academic affairs and pre-arrival assessments.
Thank you, Joan. Our Academic Affairs Department works with students on everything academic, such as course fitting, enrollment, course scheduling, and exams. The Advising and Academic Success team provides guidance on academic resources, ESL and core class tutoring, and academic advisement. We also partner with Counseling and Psychological Services and the Office of Disability Services to coordinate holistic support to students during their time at CBS. In the beginning of October, you received information about assignments and resources available in the Academic Resources course on Canvas. There are 2 buckets of pre-MBA assignments featured in this course. The first are those that are designed to ensure your preparation for your MBA core courses and academic success at CBS. We'll cover those in depth on the next slide. The other bucket contains those which are lead-ins to orientation activities. I'll only highlight the second bucket briefly. Leadership Lab and the Individual Business and Society curriculum contains assignments that will prepare you for various orientation activities. For now, please be sure to complete the Kutri assessment and the IBSC assignment by December 13th, and all other readings in those areas are due prior to orientation. As I mentioned earlier, we have a full menu of math, Excel, and academic resources to prepare you for your core courses. Your engagement with these resources and workshops ensures your academic success. If you have not already done so, it is essential that you complete the Math and Excel assessments along with the Exemption Reflection Survey in your Academic Resources course ASAP, as the deadline was November 1st. The Exemption Survey will recommend which core exemption exams you should attempt. We'll discuss exemption exams in more detail on the next slide. For all students who complete the Excel and Math assessments, you will receive next steps based on your results on the Excel and Math skills assessment, highlighting portions of lynda.com for Excel and Khan Academy for Math, and providing details on recommended workshops to attend. The Excel and Math skills section of Academic Resources provides assessments, training, and resources on these topics. For those with less experience in these areas, it is vital for you to begin your learning early and practice often before coming to campus. In your Academic Resources course, you will also find core subject preview modules in accounting, corporate finance, managerial statistics, and managerial economics, as well as the business terms readings. The core subject modules provide a sneak peek of what you will learn in the first few weeks of core classes. Business terms are Wikipedia-style articles featuring CBS professors and business terms you should know. These resources are designed for students to increase their business vocabulary, become familiar with the terms which will be used in the core, and be exposed to the material that will be covered in the start of your core classes. While not required, the core modules and business term readings will assist you with transitioning to MBA-level coursework and keeping up with the fast pace of the core, particularly for students from non-quantitative backgrounds or for those with little to no experience in these subjects. On January 8th and 9th, we will offer optional pre-orientation jumpstart introductory level workshops for PowerPoint, Math, and Excel. These workshops are open to all students who wish to attend, but will be focused on beginner level Math, Excel, and PowerPoint skills. We do not recommend you attend these workshops if you have a professional background using Math, Excel, and PowerPoint. There will be later opportunities for you to expand your skills and expertise in these topics, and these workshops are really geared toward beginner users and students who need extra introductory level help with Math, Excel, and PowerPoint. Also on January 8th, we will be offering an optional workshop that is geared toward all students and experience levels called Getting Things Done. Led by a CBS alum, this workshop will provide you with insight and skills on how to balance academics, careers, and community, and manage your time during your MBA experience. Now to turn to the topic of exemption exams, CBS offers a variety of exemption exams for core courses. Students have given us feedback that they prefer being able to take exemption exams online and early, so all exemption exams are available on Canvas to engage with remotely before coming to campus and getting swept up in orientation. This informs our clustering process to ensure each cluster and learning team has a balanced mixture of students from diverse academic and experiential backgrounds, and also enables exempted students to set their elective schedules as soon as they arrive on campus. There are various pros to exempting. Students are strongly encouraged to attempt to exempt from courses in which they have pertinent academic or professional background because it enables them to have more flexibility to take the courses which will be most fulfilling of their time at CBS. It also adds to our core course culture of being prepared, present, and participating when students are engaged in content appropriate to their knowledge and experience level. You may attempt an exemption exam and later choose not to use your exemption pass. Or you may audit the course if you want to review a subset of course topics or have more in-class cluster contact. Additionally, if you attempt an exemption exam but do not exempt, there is no penalty. In the past, we have heard from students who regretted not attempting the exemption exam once they started attending classes, and by then it's too late to exempt. Students who exempt multiple courses will still be involved with their clusters through a multitude of social events and other community channels. Please pay close attention to the honor code guidelines before preparing for exemption exams. The exemption exam period for all first semester core and elective courses is now open and has a hard deadline close of December 27th. You may log in to attempt an exemption exam online anytime during this window. Exemption exam results and next step guidance will become available the week prior to orientation. More information about specific exemption exams is already available now in your MBA exemption exams course on campus. Academic advising is a collaborative, supportive, respectful, and solutions-oriented partnership between students and academic advisors. Academic advisors empower CBS students to take action on their academic goals, registration strategy, and course selections by sharing resources and guidance to help students make informed academic decisions. Academic advisors Each academic advisor is assigned to a specific academic cluster. You will learn who your dedicated advisor is and your pre-enrolled core class schedule during the first days of orientation when your cluster is assigned. Rest assured that during orientation and throughout your entire CBS experience, your advisors will share important resources and academic information integral to your academic success. As you prepare to begin your studies at CBS, the advising team welcomes you to visit the Academic Advising and Degree Planning page on Canvas. Be sure to complete the Introduction to Academics module by January 10th. Many of your initial academic questions regarding student support, academic requirements, attendance and exam policies, and course registration will be addressed when completing the Intro to Academics module, or by perusing the advising course. Pre-arrival remote advising appointments are available now, and to students who are coming to CBS from non-quantitative backgrounds, and for those with questions about the academic resources course or exemption exams. As you will not have an assigned advisor just yet, you may contact anyone on the team using Starfish, the school's advising platform. More information on all of this was shared in the orientation newsletter. We look forward to working with you over the next 2 years. I will now pass things on to Swati from the Career Management Center.
Great, thanks, Katrina. Our mission here in the Career Management Center is to empower you to achieve what you want to achieve for your lifelong career ambition. We start working with you in welcome advising in January, and we'll stay with you through your alumni tenure as CMC supports both students and alumni. We will provide you with education and guidance on core job search and leadership capabilities, and we'll also dive deeper as subject matter experts across industries, as many of our advisors all come from various professional experiences. But it's not just the CMC you'll be partnering with in your career exploration. The CMC utilizes a framework called the Core ACE Team, known as CASE. CASE teams are comprised of CMC advisors, coaches, fellows, and executives in residence who advise students within a particular industry or functional vertical. These teams are designed to empower first-year students to tap all of the industry-related expertise, resources, and connections in the CBS ecosystem, and overall serve as a core team for career support in a specific industry. You'll have the full support in your career search, and this also includes second-year CMC fellows who have been trained to provide peer-to-peer career advice. Alumni who are acting as coaches also support you in one-on-one, small group, and large presentations, as well as the school centers and programs who lend a significant amount of career support to you also. Your professors are also an excellent resource, as are our student clubs and your fellow students. The CMC also develops and maintains relationships with employers across all industries and through all recruiting channels, some of which are highly public through on-campus recruiting activity, and the majority of which are through job postings, bringing companies to campus through networking opportunities and other awareness opportunities of the MBA job market. You can think of the CASE team ecosystem as overlapping layers of support as you pursue opportunities in different industries. Each industry has a node of people that play a role in helping you achieve your goals. You'll see here that the CASE team extends out several layers. First, we have the theory to practice layer. This is executives in residence, centers and programs, and faculty. They sit at the intersection of theory and practice across a range of industries. Then you have the practitioner level. These are your peers. These are student clubs, peer advisors, student government, and external supports like alumni employers, which offer you feedback and advice from the vantage point of targeting different industries and currently those working in the industries. Then you've got the student layer. This means all of you and those in other MBA cohorts, MBA, and MS programs, and anybody who can make an important contribution and difference in your career development process. Ultimately, you drive your own careers. The CASE team helps you figure out how to leverage the industry expertise and resources and ecosystem, but it is really up to you to make sure that you are engaging and building relationships with each other and with others in the system as you're focused on your target industries. So let's talk recruiting timelines. Here you can see what you expect the J-term full-time job search to be like, which is a marathon rather than a sprint. In a self-assessment phase, you'll be working on understanding what you want to do when you graduate. And in career exploration, you'll explore a variety of careers through the pre-MBA to-do list activities and other CMC activities you'll learn about when you arrive on campus. You'll be working on your professional branding, including your resume and your interview pitch, all which answer the question, tell me about yourself. And of course, you'll be networking both here at CBS and with outside firms and 47,000 alumni we have around the world. On-campus interviews are in the fall, and while that seems quite far away to you now, it actually comes up quite quickly when you don't expect it. So being aware of why you're coming to CBS, what you want, and what you want to do with your career is pivotal to understanding the opportunities you're going to apply for and interview for in only 10 short months. I want to further augment the job search to show you where our class of 2019 received their full-time offers. Please note this represents those who were job seeking, not those who were sponsored or returning to a family business or starting their own ventures. So you can see here that about a third signed a full-time offer before the fall. These are mostly August entrants who had a formal 10-week summer internship at a large corporation. Then, about a third of all graduates typically sign a full-time offer during the fall on-campus recruiting process. These graduates include both August entrants and J-termers. Finally, more than a third of all graduates, this is both August entrants and J-termers, sign their full-time offer during the spring of their second year and the summer after graduation. So what can you do now for careers when you have time before the craziness of orientation? First, log on to the CMC Career Management course in Canvas. Here you will find your to-dos as well as a lot of the self-assessment and industry research that will set your foundation. You'll find CBS best practice instructional modules that will be useful to you regardless of your industry. Second, you'll also find a career leader self-assessment tool. Self-assessment is an important foundation to a thoughtful MBA career path. So you want to make sure you fill this out. It's going to look at your interests, values, and skills and recommend career paths for you to consider. As mentioned, you'll need to convert your resume into the CBS format, leveraging the Resume Best Practices worksheet tips on learning how to maximize your resume. There are a lot of strong action words to use. Once you've worked on your resume and you're happy with it, you'll upload a PDF version to a tool called VMOC Smart Resume Tool, which provides quantitative and qualitative feedback and bullet-by-bullet suggestions that you can incorporate as you see fit. We ask that you do this by January 13th in time for Welcome Advising. While you're on the Canvas course, it's really important to explore all your industries and functions. We have hundreds of videos with recent alumni discussing their career journeys. We have industry overviews and industry-specific recruiting timelines. These guides give you not only what to expect, but as you're reading them, think about what is your fit with an industry and what's feasible as you enter it. It's a great point for you to consider before you begin Welcome Advising. Remember to respond to the CMC Welcome Advisor survey by December 13th. It's very important you respond to this as soon as possible. Your Welcome Advisor will be determined by your responses to your industry, function, geography preferences, and it only takes a couple minutes. Welcome Advising appointments begin January 27th. And update your LinkedIn profile. You can probably start looking at each other's profiles now, and as you start exploring or networking with alumni, they'll be looking at your profile also. When you're doing your resume, it's a good time to update your LinkedIn profile as well. Once you arrive for orientation on January 13th, you'll have access to COIN. This is our online portal where you'll be able to sign up for advising. You'll get an email from the CMC advising you when that's going to be available, and again, Welcome Advising starts January 27th. We're often asked, how do I get in touch with alumni for pre-MBA networking or pre-MBA opportunities? Columbia Business School has a direct LinkedIn page. This link will take you there. You will be able to find the 47,000 alumni who are on LinkedIn and sort them by where they work, where they live, and what they do. You can sort by grad year also. It's a very easy way to find somebody who has a very similar background to you, or maybe at a company you're wanting to learn more about. Of course, once you matriculate, you will also have access to proprietary alumni databases. Using LinkedIn is a great first step before you arrive. So you're likely thinking you're going to go from A to Z, and the reality is you're going to be moving a lot throughout your career. And so your plan right now may be linear, but know that there are going to be a lot of ups and downs, stops and starts, and success and failures along the way, not only during your tenure at CBS, but throughout your career. It's an ongoing process of self-assessment, relationship building, and reinvention, and seizing opportunities as you find them. The market is in transformation, and the change is accelerating. Your ability to pivot and flex is more important than ever. Some students find the perfect fit, others will come back to us at any point throughout their career after their time at school and beyond to reassess and strategize. So stay calm and partner with the CMC. And with that, I'll turn it back over to the Office of Student Affairs.
Thank you, Swathi. At this point, I'd like to highlight some important dates and upcoming deadlines. As you'll see, the webinar is the last item highlighted for November. However, in early December, there are some important university requirements, such as completing your immunization documentation and creating your emergency contact information that must be completed, as well as deadlines for the CMC and academic pieces mentioned earlier. Moving into January, there are some pre-orientation workshops that will help you prepare for the orientation program and also your overall MBA program. The deliverables required for January will be highlighted in your December newsletter. With that, all this information is on the to-do list, and this visual of the upcoming deadlines and important dates can be accessed on the admitted student website. Before moving into Q&A, I wanted to note that this webinar will be recorded and will be posted to the admitted student website shortly. At this time, we will shift to Q&A. Feel free to add questions to the chat box function.
Okay, our first question coming in is about a little detail. How do I get a student ID?
Great question. Student ID is received your first day of orientation, and the way that it's received is by you completing the submit your directory photo information. So please be sure to do that, and you'll be sure to have your ID available to you the first day of orientation.
When should I think about registering with disability services?
Thanks so much for that question. I would think about registering with the Office of Disability Services, or ODS as we call them, right away. You'll be able to do that by visiting their webpage, and there will be a how to register page. There'll be a form that you'll complete, and there'll be instructions of where to send it on that webpage.
Another one coming in, do you know when we sign up for classes?
Another great question. So for anyone who doesn't exempt any core classes, while you will have the opportunity to add another 1.5 credits to your schedule in your first semester, generally speaking, it's not something that the academics team recommends. As the core, you really will have a lot on your plate while taking the full core and participating in the other two pillars that we've discussed today, careers and community aspects of CBS. For those who are planning to exempt and think they may have a lot of room in your schedule, you'll be able to take that registration action sometime in the week before orientation, and you'll be notified by email when you're able to take that action.
Can you tell me more about what you had mentioned about laptop configuration?
Absolutely. You should be receiving a separate message from our ITG department. There are several options. I believe if you have a Windows computer, there's a self-configuration option. But if not, there'll be several sessions that our ITG department has for Mac users where you'll be able to drop off your computer. But additional information will come from them. If you'd like to outreach to them, their information is also placed on this slide here.
By when do we have to plan our block week classes, and where can we find a list of block week classes available?
So as a J-term student, you won't be taking any block week classes during the spring 2020 semester. You will have the opportunity to take block week classes during the summer semester. The registration period will begin sometime in March, and you will get a tremendous amount of communication before registration begins, as we want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to build the most fulfilling schedule they can.
Okay, we have someone asking, my move-in date into campus housing is the same week as orientation. Given how busy this week is, do you have any advice on how to navigate this?
Yeah, I would recommend that you outreach to admissions. They work very closely with housing, and they do understand that there are conflicts with orientation and move-in dates, so they usually are accommodating. But if there is still a conflict, please reach out to OSA and we will work with you.
Are the CMC tasks required of all incoming students?
I'm going to let my colleague, Mike DeLucia, who's Executive Director of Career Education Advising, take CMC questions.
Thank you, everybody. Yes, in general, that is something that we actually do ask everyone to do. Even for people who actually may be coming in as maybe sponsored by an employer, planning to return to a family business, maybe starting their own business, we often find students very, very interested, even in those cases, in doing something that may involve an internship, maybe in semester, and do in the time of academics, or even some part of the summer that they have off. And so everything that we're asking you to do is really setting you up to be able to consider everything appropriately regarding your kind of career goals.
If we are able to exempt from any core classes, are we able to replace any classes we are exempt from with internships or other elective classes?
Great question. Yes, if you exempt core courses, you will have the opportunity to add electives to your schedule. As for the internship piece, I'll let Mike take that.
Could you just repeat the question one more time?
Yeah. If we are able to exempt from any core classes, are we also able to replace any classes we are exempt from with internships or other elective classes?
So regarding the internship side of things, in general, whether you were a J-term or a September entering student, we highly advise not to undertake any kind of an internship during your first semester. It has to do really with, as everybody was talking about, the demands of the core, acclimating to the school, and everything like that. The other thing will be, if you are an international student, you will not have the capability to do anything that may be paid work off campus until, if you're under an F1 visa, until you've actually completed 2 full semesters of study here. If you're on a J1 visa, it would be after 1 semester of study. And so that can also impact as well.
I'm finding multiple sources and pages with things to do. Will Canvas be sufficient to complete all important items?
I believe that the best place to start as far as items to complete will be your to-do list, and that you can access on the admitted student website. I would also recommend reviewing the orientation newsletters. Those help you keep on track as far as deadlines and due dates. So I would juggle between those, and those all eventually link back to Canvas, but Canvas focuses a lot on the academic pieces that prepare you for orientation and for the program. But there are other administrative items that you'll need to complete that are only available on your to-do list.
If we want to participate in a global study tour taking place in March 2020, is that something we can apply for once we're on campus?
The Chazen Institute, which offers study tours, will be best able to answer your question. I believe that registration for those classes is taking place now, and so we can't guarantee if there would be space available once you arrive. If you can email your question to osa@gsv.columbia.edu, I'll be happy to connect you with someone in the Chazen Institute who can better answer your question.
Where can we find the list of electives available during a particular term?
That information is housed in our registration system called BOSS, which you'll gain access to much closer to orientation.
Is there a J-term specific academic calendar, or should we just use the CBS academic calendar already published and navigate term dates through there?
Great question. Both fall termers and J-termers can use the same academic calendar that, as you mentioned, is already available online.
When will there be a formal Better Halves orientation schedule available? And is the currently posted sample orientation schedule for regular students the formal orientation schedule for J-term 2020?
Great question. We are working to finalize the Better Halves orientation, and that will be shared in the next newsletter in December. So more information to come on that, but we did share a link in the past newsletter for the Better Halves website where you can check out some of the events they will post once it's been finalized. The second part of the question, the block sample schedule is basically a tentative schedule. The final schedule will be shared in the January newsletter. It's very similar. That just gives you an idea of how long your days are and how intense it will be.
If I want to do a dual degree with my MBA, but want to apply and potentially start in the fall, is that possible?
Great question. If you are interested in pursuing a dual degree, that's something that you're going to want to take action on right away. For the majority of dual degrees, you'll need to apply and be accepted into your second program before the end of your first year. And yes, it would be possible, depending on the dual degree, for you to complete 2 semesters with CBS, meaning spring and summer of 2020, and then you could begin at your second program in fall of 2020. You would have an additional semester to complete with CBS that you would need to complete in order to graduate.
If we would like help with any particular topic while in school, what tutoring or other academic resources are available?
Fantastic question. We do offer tutoring for all of the core classes in addition to an elective course called Capital Markets and Investments. Each student will have 20 hours of tutoring available, and that tutoring all takes place with peer tutors, meaning these are second-year students who have taken these courses very recently and been very successful in them. I can't really think of anyone better suited to help someone who's going through the core and maybe struggling. In addition to peer tutoring, there will also be weekly review sessions held for core classes, which will either be led by the class teaching assistants, or TAs as we call them, or by the professors. Professors also hold office hours should students want clarification on a topic or two after class. And finally, the core modules that are available to you in the academic resources course, you're going to have access to those for your lifetime at CBS. So it's certainly worth, if you have the time now, to review them, and just know that as you're going through the core, you'll be able to go back and utilize the resources found in that course as well.
Is there a Facebook or maybe WhatsApp or Slack group that incoming students can connect with each other in?
There is a Facebook group, I believe, that admissions sets up for incoming students. You can email them at apply@gsb.columbia.edu, and they'll be able to assist you with that. As far as Slack and WhatsApp, the students do use Slack, but that you don't become a part of until you are a matriculated student, which won't begin until you start orientation.
Are there ways we can get involved in campus groups or events now before the start of the spring semester if we are from the New York metro area?
You'll have to reach out to housing about that. You can reach them at housing.columbia.edu. Could you repeat the question?
Are there ways that students can get involved in campus groups or events now before the start of the spring semester?
Got it. I think the Facebook group would be the best option. Admissions sets that up.
And how long does it take for Columbia graduate student housing application requests to be processed?
That's another piece that admissions takes care of. And again, their email is apply@gsb.columbia.edu.
What percentage of J-term students seeking jobs actually land jobs after 3 months of graduation? How many J-term students get full-time offers in investment banking?
Okay, and so we actually haven't broken down, I think, this data 100% between J-termers and September entering students. In general, we are talking about kind of within 3 months after graduation, roughly the overall number I think has been around 94% or so having sort of received offers. Generally, I think that J-termers are pretty closely kind of aligned with September entering students at that point in time. There are, in some cases, I think you may see that J-termers kind of getting some offers or accepting some offers a little bit slightly later, total versus September's, simply because, or primarily because, many offers may be made to September entering students coming directly out of their summer internship, so they're converting offers from that. So it's just maybe a little bit later as a result of that. On the investment banking side, the investment banking side is very, very much a summer internship, structured summer internship game. And so if you are a J-termer who are actually targeting investment banking, it will not be a very structured search. It will be a very heavily networking-based search in which you will probably be best suited to be thinking about which groups within specific banks are going to best align with your experience, and really kind of work on building those relationships, most likely during the summer period, and then moving into fall and beyond. And so it's going to be one of those things where there will be very few, let's say, banks who will be on campus to recruit for full time, maybe just a couple, maybe more also on the boutique bank side. It is very much more of a summer internship conversion situation.
Do we have on-campus job opportunities available for students in their first term?
So this actually kind of just goes back to the answer that I gave before. So we highly recommend that you do not pursue any kind of an internship during your first semester, simply because of the demands of time, on your schedule. That being said, if you were really doggedly determined to do that, there definitely are job postings through our point system for part-time in-semester internships that some of which may start to be posted maybe late this semester before the holidays, but you will very much see them from January into February. And so if you are really, really interested, you can definitely look at that. But the other way that people absolutely do source internship opportunities are through networking and relationship building, in which they can actually discuss a potential project with an employer and kind of work that out in relation to the flexibility in their schedule, what an employer may need in terms of hours and when your availability may be.
And Mike, does your description of J-term recruitment for investment banking also apply to management consulting?
Not exactly, no, because there is actually more opportunity for management consulting in fall in terms of even structured recruiting. Not all, but many of the consulting firms do come back to kind of fill out their needs for full-time through formal on-campus recruiting. And so it is not the same thing. Although definitely a good portion of offers that also go to, let's say full-time offers for management consulting do come from summer conversion offers from those who have been through structured internship recruiting, from a September entering class.
We do have a couple more minutes, so if we have any additional last-minute questions, please feel free to use the chat function. Well, if not, thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you in January.